Hey guys, welcome to this installment of the Upscale Business Podcast. Today I am joined by Troy, and this podcast title is called Rebuilding the Empire. Ooh, pretty good, pretty good. Troy, how are you, my man?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good, good. So, what I want to do is introduce yourself, who you are, what your business is, and where you come from.
So I'm Troy Constantine, run the Experts Oz at Ormo in Queensland, and it's a electrical and air conditioning business. I've been in business since 2011 and had obviously a number of journeys along the way, good and bad. So obviously I'm here to talk to you about where I am at this point and where I've come from pretty much.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, look, the theme of this podcast today is very much going to be reflecting on 2024. Yeah, I want to hear some wins, I want to hear some challenges, and I want to hear your goals and aspirations for 2025. I think this side of the year, it's important for everyone to reflect. It's quite easy to get, demotivated, a little bit disgruntled of where we're at because we get busy, closing down the days to the silly season, Christmas time. I think it's really, really good just to stop, set some goals, and think about what we've achieved and where we're going to go. So, look, that's going to be the theme of the podcast today. The purpose of it is to hear your journey. So, look, I want to give you the floor, ask you some questions, and hear it from, in your words of where you've been. So, firstly, what have been the biggest challenges, Troy, for you in 2024?
So I think the biggest challenges for me were, I've run a business since 2011 from nothing, no education on business, come from a working family background. My grandfather was a businessman. I kind of looked up to him. He made a lot of money in different things as a builder, and I thought I want to run my own business and do that. Along the way, if you don't have the education, you don't know how to do things, right? So you make mistakes along the way. And I think it's good for other people that want to do this to kind of get help from either coaching or education to set up businesses properly, because you need the knowledge and the foundation for all that. Now, my journey, I was doing air conditioning first up. And then I got into the electrical background as well. So I've got a couple of electricians as well. And we slowly build a foundation where we got some builders contracts. We did a lot of builders work and air conditioning. And my biggest challenge was trying to find the right people to help do that work. You get your good and bad trades. The last financial year, I grew my business to like 1.6 turnover, mainly builders, 99% electrical and builders. And I think you can't have your eggs in one basket because obviously you can get burned that way. We were doing like 300 homes a year for one mob, and then we were doing high-end homes for another mob. And I think the guys that I didn't have the foundations in place, I was running everything myself. I didn't have any admin staff, grew it to that. And it was just getting tiring, monitoring the guys, the work. I was losing clientele because the monitoring wasn't there. And then obviously I upscaled, but then I had to downscale because I obviously lost clients, and it put me in a situation where I had to rely on my team to do the work. But if they're not good, then I had to kind of, I lost money. I lost contracts. So it put me in a bit of a hole. And then obviously I've journeyed to hook up with you guys. It's probably been the best thing I've ever done.
Yep. Awesome. So look, I want to go back to beforehand. Yeah. So Troy's just started his business. Where did you get all of the advice and knowledge to running a business? Was that from your grandfather, from family, from friends, from what Billy was doing down the road? Where did all that come from?
Self-motivation. I've always had self-motivation, always had goals, always wanted, my whole thing was I want to be rich. I do not want to struggle. I want to get as much money as I can, and I want to live life to the fullest, right? That's why I thought business is the way. when you're stuck in with a job, I used to, work for people, and I used to be like, the way you're doing things, I didn't like it. I couldn't be controlled. I was like a wild beast, pretty much. I couldn't be controlled. Couldn't be told what to do. I was looking at other businesses going, mate, you're doing it totally wrong. It's slow. It's unproductive, And I became a very organised, structured person, which helped me with business and productivity. But what let me down was getting the team members in that could actually follow that kind of self-motivation and stick to the game plan without going outside the lines type thing,
Awesome, man. Awesome. Just quickly, I was just thinking we could even change the podcast name to Wild Beasts with Troy. That's got a better ring to it. That's got a bit of a ring to it.
Well, that's
But
it. Yeah.
So that's starting our business. We've got it then to the point from self-motivation, building a bit of an empire. Yeah. And then how were we feeling when we needed to make those changes? Yeah, we were losing clients and we've scaled back down. What was the thought process for you then?
Well, because I've been doing it for so long, I've had previous coaches as well, but the coaches that I did have, they were more corporate, you know what I mean? And they were more self-motivating, but I already have that. I needed the knowledge to get the processes in place, the systems in place to grow properly, right? And they didn't really help me with that, you know what I mean? So it kind of made it difficult to kind of learn, make mistakes, learn. But when I got to that stage, I was ready to just pick it up and throw it in the bin, pretty much, you know what I mean? Because all that stress from upscaling, the builders would promise me, oh, look, we'll give you 300 homes a year. They'd give me like 12 undergrounds, 20 undergrounds, and then they'd take the work from me or play me against another competitor and kind of squeeze me until I said, no, can't do your work anymore. You know what I mean? And then obviously getting a team and having a team that I had too many guys to monitor, even though we had things in place like WhatsApp for photos and all that kind of stuff, they still couldn't do their job properly. I was getting callbacks. A builder said, look, mate, your houses are looking like cheese with all the plasters cut out in the wrong place. You know what I mean? And we were doing multiple patch-ups. And it just wasn't good enough. And I had team meetings and everything, you know what I mean? So I think important thing is you have to have a standard to start off with. You have to have things in place to have standards for your employees so they know when they're employed, this is what you have to do. This is the expectation. If not, this is the consequences. But if you do well, then this is where you can go and I can look after you like that. You know what I mean? But it was very hard at that stage.
Yeah. And I think this is really relatable to a lot of business owners, myself included, for those listening that probably do know my story, there's been times that I want to throw it in the bin before. Yeah. It's hard. Business is hard. If it was easy, everyone would do it.
100%.
Yeah. So I think I really liked what you said there. Like you had the motivation. It was the knowledge. So before jumping on board, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, when did all of this turn around for you? What was that pivotal moment where you felt as though you were getting that knowledge?
Well, when I started with you guys, I think it was more the foundation, right? So the foundation of, okay, what are you quoting? How do you know your overhead costs? Because your overhead costs change, right? So if you're growing, your expenses change. If you don't have the numbers to cover that, then you're running on a mouse wheel. You don't know how much you're making. You don't have it in front of you. So therefore, I actually developed a sheet myself from Excel and knew exactly what point I was at. But that's my kind of thing that I built to know when I had to make a move to go down, get rid of people, or scale back up. But you shouldn't have to do that. You should know the numbers straight up and keep on monitoring them as your business increases. So you can cover all the costs. I mean, right down to, okay, putting on another billable is going to be this much. You know what I mean? Van, guy, overheads, taken care of, profit margin. That's when my business changed. In the last 4 months, I've done as much as I would have with more guys in 6 months. So I'm doing less, but more. And I'm only doing air conditioning, not even doing electrical. So it just goes to
Yep.
show I was doing solar, electrical, CCTV, alarms, air conditioning, all that at 1.6 turnover, right? Not much of a profit margin, and then come on board with you guys, got my numbers right, and all of a sudden it's exploded, within 4 months.
Yep.
Achieving that, you know what I mean?
I remember it vividly, like our first couple sessions, and it was a lot of trying to figure out, okay, cool, what are we doing here? Where are we finding these prices? And it wasn't until we really got stuck in, understood our new rates, going through building out those calculators and figuring out how we were going to execute these jobs that, yeah, we turned it around pretty quickly. Like that's a personal win of mine for 2024. Like thinking about when you jumped on with us, it was about 114K. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, you've just done a 250K month.
Yeah.
Just gone. Yeah.
Correct.
Insane. And that is with us.
That's one person selling from one partial bit of marketing, you know what I mean? And nothing else. So the thing is once you can build off that so easy with the correct things in place.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. So that's the sort of numbers side of it. But then what other knowledge do you find's been super valuable to you in this journey to rebuild the empire?
I think it's just getting the advice from you with, okay, now that we're at this point, we can now go to this point. For example, okay, what do we need to do next? I need to be freed up because I'm doing all the quotes, all the admin, all that kind of stuff, ordering all the gear, monitoring the guys. Okay, let's get an admin, take all that off my shoulders, you know what I mean? And then after that's done, then we can concentrate on either other services and putting more billables on. That will be my job, you know what I mean? And then obviously moving from there, you put other people in place to help manage it. So there's a lot of excitement now and even more motivation to get to that point because I'm not guessing. I've seen you do it. Mitch talks about he's done it. All these people that are just getting to this automated. Troy Constantine, you know what I mean? He's done it as well. And for me, his story, when I listen to the podcast of his struggles, that's why I engage with you guys. So it's funny how a podcast can motivate you and get you, in.
Really hope that there is a podcast in the future, the two Troys. Get it done. Get it done. We will make it happen. Shout out to you, Troy, if you're listening.
100%.
Awesome, man. So look, obviously that's been sort of the past, the present, what we're working on. Let's still reflect within our business. What have been some key wins for you this year? Coming now closer to the end of 2024. What are some wins?
So key wins are definitely doing the bigger numbers, making more profit. Getting an admin in place to take the pressure off me. And I guess the other wins are the new programs like Asana, having that on board, getting organised and prepped to move forward. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All that knowledge has helped me put these processes in place so I can build an empire pretty much.
Yeah. And I really like what you said there in terms of like, you're feeling motivated, like it's bringing the fun back into business. Like I'm sure there's heaps of people listening here that like think that their business is, like it's just grueling. It's a task, a thing we have to get up and do, and you lose that motivation. You lose the love for what you do. Yeah. I can personally say, put my hand up. Yeah. I've felt that way. So I think having the knowledge and having those things in place to love what you do again is crucial for rebuilding.
Well, it's lifestyle, right, as well. Like that's part of your life. So you don't want to be waking up every morning and it's mundane, stressful. You know what I mean? You want to know that each day you're moving forward. You don't want to be going 2 steps forward, 5 steps back, which is what I was doing. You know what I mean? Because I'd go, oh, this is good. I'm going this way. And then I'd go, hang on, I've just been stuffed over. I've got to go backwards. You know what I mean? And that's an emotional roller coaster, forward, backwards. But at least there's more stability by having a coach, for example, to then, okay, what are we looking forward to this week in our chat? What can we conquer? You know what I mean? It pushes that motivation forward and there is no worry about, oh, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? You know what I mean? Because you know that the foundations are there to get to where you want to go to because it's all been put in place and other people have done it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So that's what's exciting for me.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I think, I've been fortunate enough to be in this coaching position now for a little while. And I think the common theme and pattern, and personally, I take this on board as well, is having goals. Yeah. Like goal
Definitely.
setting, making sure that you know where you're heading.
Mm,
Yeah. And your goals will forever change throughout this journey. I know my goals when I started my business completely different to, what they were when I finished up.
yeah.
Yeah. I think really important, especially towards these busier periods, to reflect on what's been, yeah, and having goals for where we want to be. If we have something to work towards, like i.e., looking forward to a holiday, yeah,
Yeah.
you got something to look forward to. You're going to work hard towards that.
Yeah.
If in business we're aimlessly working, yeah, you lose the love, you lose that motivation. It feels like you're on the hamster wheel, yeah,
But
going around in circles.
you lose
Yeah,
time. So before you know it, 10 years has gone past and you're like, what the hell? I'm still in the same spot. You know what I mean? At least you can kind of have small goals to reach the big goals. And yeah, they might change. But I guess as far as building a lifestyle with a business, small steps, you know what I mean? Small goals along the way, reach the big goals. So I think,
yep,
that's it's really good that um, the program that you guys have put in place because I can see it working. And I've had coaches before, as I've said, but nothing is like the ladder that I'm climbing at the moment. I haven't, I
awesome.
haven't, I haven't seen anything like it before. So
And look, I will take some credit, but a lot of that credit is to you. And I really like what you said there is setting little goals. Troy, I remember the first session, you and me together,
mm,
and we were here
yeah,
and you were thinking about all the way over here already.
that
And I
all,
was like, awesome,
all
love the drive, love the motivation, but what's happening here?
yeah,
And I think when we started to put that into place and take little bite-sized pieces in our business, we made some traction real quickly. You really started seeing those results. It lit a fire in your belly. You were
yeah,
motivated. Yeah.
mm,
You were happy in your business and what we were doing,
yeah, definitely.
which is a perfect segue to what I want to talk about next, which is 2025. That actually feels really, really weird saying. In my head, I'm still kind of in 2018.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely,
Yeah. You've
definitely.
definitely got that window where everyone fills out a document wrong. I'm still writing 2024. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
what does 2025 hold for you?
Well,
What's the goals?
2025 is going to be obviously I'm getting the air conditioning foundation down, but I want to get into the electrical space again. Um, I'd like to build and establish an automated business by the end of the year of 2025. That's my goal. And obviously put the small steps in place to do that. But then I've got heaps of goals in the future, you know. But obviously it's conquering one at a time. Get
Yep.
one sorted, conquer it, move on to the next one. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Awesome. And I love that. Look, I think with goal setting as well, it's really important to look like you, Troy, as Troy, and your business are two completely different things. So,
All
yeah,
right.
cool. We
Mm,
want to get our business to this
mm,
level. That's great. That's our business goals. But I think it's really important to sort of reflect on what we want personally, like
mm,
getting your business to automation.
mm.
What does your life then look like? What does Troy's life look like?
My life would be free time, and obviously I've got two sons that work for me as well. I want to educate them into the business. I mean, I've got a 21-year-old that's nearly qualified Sparky. He wants to run the show. You know what I mean? And then his younger brother, which is 2 years younger, he's going to be a qualified Fridgie in 3 years. You know, them two together, they want to power on. So I want to be like the guidance for them. You know what I mean? So they don't make the mistakes that I did. So all this stuff I'm doing now, will be for my kids. That's my personal thing for them, and then I can kind of be in the background, enjoying my life while they're doing
Yeah.
what they can do. That's my biggest goal. So yeah,
That is awesome, man. Look, as someone that is coming into fatherhood myself, yeah, I have nothing but love for that whole concept, keeping it in the family, being able to, yeah, guide them through and navigate them through this hard thing that is business. Yeah. I think having goals set in place, having that knowledge really refines that experience for people. Yeah. It's because it is hard. It is hard. You've been at the bottom and you've been at the top, Troy, and we're going to go even further with this.
Yeah.
Now, that free time, that's something that this is actually a question I love asking everyone because I actually don't know. If I didn't work, I'd have no idea what I'd be doing sort of outside of that. So let's say automation, your free time, what are you doing?
Mate, I reckon I'm going around the world, or I'm enjoying my free time exploring and adventuring.
Yep.
That's what I'll be doing for sure, 100%. You know,
Beautiful.
that's probably the ultimate. You know, and obviously getting older, you don't want to miss that time, because this is the thing, right? This is another thing for business owners out there. Once you, like, people procrastinate and they have fear and all this kind of stuff, but coming from me, when you've gone up and you've come down and gone further negative and then come back up, really your fears are gone, because you've been both sides of the coin. People go, oh, I don't want to go broke, or I don't want to do this. But sometimes it's an effect where you can actually look back at that and say, hey, I made it to the highs, I made it to the lows. I've got more knowledge. You know what I mean? I know how to not go back there now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when, and it might be because of maybe they've been misguided or something's happened in their business that was out of their control and has now left them in a position where they're feeling a little bit vulnerable, they stay in that space. Yeah, you get a lot of business owners that have that fear of, I don't want to get staff back on again because this happened. And they end up letting go of all of their goals and dreams because of fear. So,
and a bad experience. So my whole thing was I had to keep my guys in the building trade for being Sparkies, right? Because we had rough-ins and fit-offs and things to keep going. Now, I was not getting any more work, but I had to keep the guys for months on end to finish those projects. I couldn't just pull them off and say, see you later, you know what I mean, to the builders. We had to actually stay until the jobs were finished to get that final payment. So it was costing me more to keep them than to get that final payment, but I couldn't do anything. So that's kind of what dragged me into the red zone, you know what I mean? And then I had to actually get a business loan to float me through that hard time to then get me back to where I am now. And that's pretty much going backwards, starting again, getting rid of everybody, going, okay, what am I going to concentrate on, which was aircon for now. And that's kind of, with your help, that's kind of got me out of it, got me out of the red, back into the green, you know what I mean? But that's what I mean. Yeah. People don't, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like, you guys talk on podcasts about people cold calling and they're always scared of talking to someone or the rejection or whatever, but it's actually a good thing to fail. Because once you fail and you get out of that hole somehow, it's not like you're going to die. You know what I mean? But coming back from that, then you think I can get through anything. I
love that. I love that. And I agree. Look, I think it is important to have your failures. Yeah. It's a fast way of learning. Definitely. And it lights a fire in your belly. I know it does for me. So what would be your advice? What would be Troy's advice to someone that's maybe been burnt in the past, someone that's maybe lost motivation, maybe lost sight of what they got into business for? What would be your advice?
My advice would be, I guess, failure produces resilience, right? And if you can be resilient through your business, you'll come up with things that can help you. But obviously, my advice is, if you've got no knowledge, no direction, obviously get someone that can help you and get educated. Because without that, you might just chuck in the towel and give it up because you kind of got no idea. Because everyone becomes like, you become a tradesman and you think, okay, I'm going to run my own business. No one knows how to run your own business. You know what I mean? Unless they have done business, courses and stuff. And I personally haven't done a business course, which probably would have been an eye-opener. But in saying that, joining a coach like you guys you can actually fast track that knowledge probably even quicker than learning business because you've experienced that. So you guys are putting your personal experience to me and saying, this is what I've found, this is what works. You know what I mean? It's not just theory and a little bit of practical. It's pretty much what you've been through and how to build it. You know what I mean? So I think my advice is, if you don't know, get knowledge, get education, get a coach, and don't guess.
I love that, man. I love that. And yeah, look, I love what you said there about, yeah, you're a business owner, but you don't know how to run your business. Like those out there that know my story, I was a Sparky running around in the van.
Yeah.
And shout out mum and dad, Mitch and Arena, with all their knowledge and things they taught me, now able to do this. And the same thing for you, Troy, all this knowledge that you've now got and that you possess are now able to help your sons grow and become successful business owners, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
So look, man, I wanted to sort of recap on what we spoke about. Being, we've had some lows. Yeah. We've had a crazy 2024. Yeah. Still on the up and up.
4 months.
Yeah.
4 months. It's crazy. Ridiculous.
Yep. I can see amazing things happening for you in your business. And I think, just wanting to recap on the importance to all the listeners here of just because we've gone through hard times, doesn't mean we can't get out of them. Yeah. I think it's really important for all of you to take that time to reflect within yourself, reflect within your business, reflect within your family, and don't lose sight of what you got into business for. Yeah, because it's going to be tough. There's going to be hard times.
Definitely.
But if we don't have goals, if we're not setting them, if we're not reviewing them, we can go backwards. So, Troy, thank you so much, man, for joining me today. Loved hearing about your journey, and I'm excited to see what we can do. Automation in 12 months, it's absolutely happening. You'll be giving me a call from a yacht in Italy, most likely.
100%.
Yeah. Be on your Zoom calls overseas. Yeah. Perfect, man.
No,
awesome.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Wonderful, guys. Now, look, all the listeners, want to hear more stuff like this, please make sure you're tuning into the podcast. Follow us on our socials, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, so on and so forth. But for now, we'll see you later.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Yeah.